been continuously cranberry harvesting since 1991. But I also grew up here. You know, I wanted to go away to the big city. Got my fill of that. That's been 20 years ago since I came back.
Our farm is the oldest, like the same family has owned it, farm, Cranberry Farm in Oregon. A century farm is when a family has had a farm and run it for 100 years straight. So in 2017, we will become the first cranberry farm in Oregon to become a century farm. That's a really big deal to us. We're proud of that his family has had that and run it and kept it going. That's what Dave's mom wanted.
So we have kind of a legacy of carrying on this tradition that she wanted it to pass down in the family. So it's a business, but it's also a family legacy too.
We spend a lot of time together, and you know, I mean, we don't just live together as a married couple, we work together all the time. And it's probably something that a lot of people might get sick of each other doing that. We're good together though. I mean, he knows this stuff. He knows what he's doing. And I'm newer at it. And, you know, I kind of follow him around in a lot of our jobs. I'll follow him around and I just help him. You know, I'm like the assistant. I just kind of follow him around and assist.
A cranberry bog is like a tree in that it keeps continuing to put out fruit year after year. You don't plow the ground up and put in new cranberries every year.
You're putting life into them. I mean, you're giving them life in everything you do with them. When you fertilize them, when you water them, when you prune them, take care of them, harvest them, you're helping them along. They have a uniqueness about them. And we kind of, I think we look at them in a little bit of a special way. And you know, it's funny, they actually seem to respond to it. I mean, the bogs that we care about the most, that we put the most life into, seem to give the most back. So everything we do, we try to treat them like we want them to continue for 100 years. And we're putting life into them and treating them as a life form and not just something we're going to cut down and harvest. A lot of farmers just number their bogs. It might be, bog number 1 or A1, A2, that kind of a thing. Dave's parents named them, though. Named them after, maybe different things happening in their life at that time, or they traveled somewhere, so they would name it after a state. There was bogs like Slobovia Lake. It was one of the original bogs. Africa bog, they thought that one day that would pay for a trip to Africa. there was a dog patch, which I think was from Little Abner.
Grandparents bought this farm, and then they sold it to my parents, and then my mom sold it to me and my wife. So we have kind of a legacy of carrying on this tradition.
In 1917, Dave's grandparents stood here and watched over 100 people on their hands and knees picking these berries. And here we are in the same place doing the same thing as far as picking the cranberries, but in a very different way. There is kind of an awesomeness to it.